For the final time, yes, I am native from Nova Scotia. Yes, I have status. Yes, both of my parents. Yes, I am black. Okay? I'm so fucking tired of this discourse, and for everyone that thinks that it's okay for them to comment on my videos that I'm Jamaican, or I'm this, that, and the third, or that I don't even sound like I'm from Nova Scotia, or that my accent is fake Scotian, or whatever the case may be, for all of you guys that feel like it's okay for you to spew hate on my videos talking about my identity, get your priorities straight, because y'all are still in government housing having something to say about me. Okay? Get the priorities straight. Do you even have $1,000 to your name? And you want to tell the next person that you've never met a day in your life that you know absolutely nothing about except for the minute video that you see me post? Do you really think that you should be spewing hate when you don't even have a couple dollars to your name until the 27th? Come on, guys. Let's get it together. For the
All right, Shalom. Shalom. I'm going to start off by giving all glory, honor, and praises to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Makakudash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. And salutations to the brothers that's teaching this truth and sincerity. Shalom to hopeful elect the 1/3. All right, hopeful elect. All right, Yahweh be in the name of the Heavenly Father, who the world ignorantly calls God, and Yahushai be in the name of his Son, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. This gospel, this truth, the kingdom of heaven, salvation is for the Israelites and the Israelites only, who are you so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, and the ones scattered abroad that may look like the other nations. Okay, but your spirit resonates with this truth. You're more than most likely an Israelite, going back to the 12 patriarchs on your father's side, bloodline, lineage. Okay. Yeah, pretty much this is just a response to this video. I'm gonna call it black people suffer from a racial identity crisis. Okay. Just responding to what this young woman was saying here, not even to get at her for real. She does make a valid point, and really it goes into the ignorance of our people, so-called black people that are in, I guess, Canada, because Nova Scotia is a province in Canada, similar to a state, but it's a province in Canada. Okay, and a lot of people don't know the history of Nova Scotia, and a lot of people don't know the history of Canada as well. They don't know the history of black people in Canada as a whole, all throughout Ontario. This is before the immigration of the Caribbean so-called black people and the West African black people and whoever, East African, the African immigrants. This is before that. They need to understand. A lot of people don't understand that there was a history of black people in Canada the same way there was a history of black people in Slovakia, in America, right? And our people are so ignorant, and really they haven't even been taught this information, but it's basic information. It's not hard to grasp once you grasp it. And a Jamaican might, I guess she's responding to a Jamaican, I guess, I don't know, right? A so-called Benjamite or whatever, saying that she's not black. Clearly, she is what she is. She is an Israelite, more than most likely. She says she's native and black. Now we know we're not mixed because it's either one or the other. Okay, so she could be either of the tribe of Gad or the tribe of Judah. All right, because Judah was also in Canada as well. The so-called Black Americans, as you would call them, are especially in Nova Scotia, right? And you already know that there was natives in the land of Canada as well as in the land of America. It's not hard concept to grasp. So she's saying she is what she is, then it's not for you to tell her what she is. it's for the Israelites ultimately to tell her what she is. Like I said, she's most likely an Israelite from one of those, either Gad or Judah, right? Or Reuben, maybe. Who knows? But all right, you people are even just basic carnal knowledge. You can't even grasp it, and it kind of pisses me off because it's so basic. So I'm in agreement with her. All right, why are you telling her what she is? She's telling you what she is, and that's that, right? Well, this is what it comes down to, man. Through the Spirit, she could be Judah, because a lot of people don't want to give Judah credit. They like to act like Judah has no culture. That's their number one thing, and they like to shame Judah. They like to ask Judah dumb questions. Oh, where are you from? America. Okay, but where are your parents from? America. Where are your parents' from? America. The fuck? Do you not know that slavery, the transatlantic slave trade took place in America? That's just basic knowledge. That's not even us getting into free black people, so-called black people, leaving Europe to come to the Americas as well on their own will, coming to Canada and America. That's I'm not even getting into that, but that happened as well. Okay, I'm not gonna say that's common knowledge. Okay, that's not basic knowledge, but basic knowledge is the transatlantic slave trade, right? And pretty much Esau, the so-called white man, he's done a good job of quote unquote giving credit to where credit is due. Esau doesn't want to give credit to the so-called black Americans. So what he'll do, he'll give credit to Caribbeans. Oh, look at their island. They have a culture. They have, mind you, the whole world's culture is based off of Judah. Judah started everything. Judah has a swagger, everything. This is how it is. People want to act like your fashion, your style, the way you move, music, everything you hear, from pop to hip hop to rock, it's all Judah. Okay? Now, that's not to say Gad wasn't a part of that. That's not to say Reuben, the other tribes, Benjamin wasn't a part of certain aspects of it all. But when it comes to who started it for real, you got to give it to Judah, man. The so-called Black American, African American. So whatever you want to call it, FBA, fuck, whatever bugged out name you want to call them, because they're really not that. They're Judah. They're from the tribe of Judah, going back to the Bible, the same tribe that Yahushua, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ, came from. He was a so-called dark-skinned man. All right. But like I said, basic knowledge is understanding history, which is the transatlantic slave trade. Basic, okay? Let me grab this real quick. I just did a basic Google search, okay? Nova Scotia's history with black and natives. Nova Scotia's history, basic AI. Okay, and it's all cited too. I could click into these things and it's all cited. So I'm not just talking on my ass here, but this is just basic Google search. Nova Scotia's history of black and indigenous peoples is a 400-year story of resilience. And this is not, like, brothers already know why I'm bringing this out, right? We have an idea of what's going on, but it's for the people that don't know, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? But if you want to know and you're sincere in knowing, you're gonna get this knowledge. You're gonna get this understanding. Because once you get it, it's once the Spirit is dealing with you, it's not hard to understand. It's not a hard concept to grasp, right? Ultimately, the Spirit has to be dealing with you, because we brothers, we can all break certain things down and reference movies and certain things as basic and break it down bit by bit, chop it up, and spoon feed you the information. But if the Spirit is really not dealing with you, you won't even get it. You won't even get the milk. If the Spirit is not dealing with you, You won't even get the milk of the scriptures. All right, you know, and who knows? If I don't know if this basic history is that milk or not. I don't know. I don't know if it's milk, but I can break it down as you know, I can break it down as much as I can as possible. And you people, if the spirit's not dealing with you, you're just not meant to get it anyways. But we still have to bring it out because there's no excuse. There's no cloak for your sins, man. We got to bring it out regardless. So let me read this again. Nova Scotia's history of black and indigenous peoples is a 400-year story of resilience, systemic discrimination, and foundational contributions. Black Nova Scotians, often through slavery or escaping it, black loyalists, refugees, built 52 communities, while the Micmac have lived in the region since time immemorial, both facing colonial oppression and structural racism. Okay, so most likely the Micmac are the Gadites. All right, may have some Reubenites in there. Who knows? It's all in the spirit, but whatever. We're going based off of geographic location. You might more so find Reuben in the Midwest of Canada. Okay, but that's not saying you won't find them. You won't find them at all in Canada. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, it says Black history in Nova Scotia. Arrivals. Black people have been present for over 400 years, with Matthew da Costa, a Micmac interpreter, arriving in 1604. Enslaved people were held in early French and British settlements, including the fortress of Louisbourg. And that's why, you know, a lot of these that's why, you know, Canada can quote unquote get away with saying, even though Canada still had slavery, they want to get away with saying, oh, Canada didn't have slavery, because at the time Canada wasn't even a country in 1604. Okay, so if they were quote unquote doing acts of slavery and transatlantic slavery, bringing blacks, they can technically say, oh, well, we weren't a country. We weren't a country then. We weren't, you know, in 1604, we weren't even established, right? You know, I forget. We can just look it up. Basic Google search. When was Canada founded? Sure, 1867. Okay, so now that we know that, when was Canada founded? Okay, now we can ask, did Canada participate in, which they did anyways, slavery? Oh yeah, because John A. Macdonald, he had slaves. Did Canada participate in slavery of black people? Just to be specific, let's see what the AI says. Yes, a simple Google search. That's all I needed to hear. Yes. All right. Until it was abolished in the British Empire, 1834. Okay, so Canada was established in 1867, and then they abolished it in 1834. So you see how, let's go back real quick. Yes, so see? So Canada, like going back to my point, Canada could be like, oh, we never had slavery. You get what I'm trying to say? But that's just the devil being the devil. Okay, because who founded Canada? It was the French, the British. Okay, and they were taking part in slavery, but because Canada got founded, oh, we changed. No, you're the same devils. You're the same people. Okay, you're the same people. But that's how Canada is able to hide through. Oh, we're not racist. We didn't have slavery. You goddamn right. You did have slavery. Okay, slavery happened on this land. Slaughter of the Native Americans. Oh. You know what I'm saying? They could be like, oh, we never slaughtered the Native American. That if they want to play that devil route because they quote unquote founded the land on a different year, and so it was a clean slate. That in their mind, that's their argument. Oh, it's a clean slate now. You know, but that's not how it works. Let's go back to this one I was reading. Settlement and migration. Over 3,000 black loyalists arrived after the American Revolution, 1782 to 85, and 2,000 black refugees after the War of 1812, promised land and freedom but facing racism and poor land allocation. 52 communities, historically black settlers, formed communities like Africville, North Preston, and East Preston. This is all in Nova Scotia. Okay? So this is just a basic giving you a timeline on how and who came here and when. Okay? I'm not even getting into the generation of when the Caribbeans came. They came when? Maybe the 60s, 70s. Okay, late 60s, early 70s. That's, you know. You know what I'm saying? After World War II. You know what I'm saying? Definitely after World War II. What am I even saying? That's so maybe let's just say 50s, 60s, 70s. Okay. I guess I'll just do a basic Google search. When did Caribbean that's 2 B's, not 2 R's, whatever. Immigrants come to Canada. That's the point. And it's all about the same time. Okay, so the 50s and 60s. Caribbean immigration to Canada began as early as the late 18th century, but the majority, this is what I'm talking about, the majority. So you had Benjamin there in 18th century as well. So there you go. This is more history that we can all know. Okay? Basic Google search with articles to back it. It's not fucking rocket science for you numbnuts out there, honestly. So if the girl's saying she is what she is, that's what she is, man. You know? It's not hard to grasp. Caribbean immigration to Canada began as early as the late 18th century, but the majority arrived in major waves during the 1960s and 70s. Right. Like I said, that's what While initial settlers included Jamaican Maroons in 1796, significant migration started after 1960, spurred by the West Indian domestic scheme. How the fuck they call it a scheme anyway? Anyways, you get the point. All right. Going back to the main point. Africville, a thriving black community near Halifax, it was systemically neglected and eventually destroyed by the city in the 1960s, now a symbol of urban racism and resilience. So Canada, a very racist country, don't get it twisted, all right? Legacy African Nova Scotians are recognized as a founding culture with a rich history documented by the Black Cultural Center for Nova Scotia. Indigenous history. Founding people, the Mi'kmaq are the indigenous people of Nova Scotia. Initial relations, early relations with settlers involved trade. Fuck that, Esau. I don't want to hear that shit. That's why the Bay is out of business. Systemic impacts. Never mind. We could read it. Fuck it. Early relations with settlers involved trade and cultural exchange. Yeah, being the devil, Esau, so-called white man being the devil that he is. But colonial policies brought disease, conflict, and loss of land. Because Esau is the devil. Esau is the plague that walks the earth. Systemic impacts. The Micmac have faced historical and ongoing systemic discrimination similar to black communities, often being forced to the margins of economic and social life. That's because we're Israelites. All right, the Native Americans are Israelites. The so-called blacks are Israelites. All right, so-called Native Americans are Israelites. Whatever. That's why we're going through the same shit. We have the same curses. All right, same shit. What's going on with us? Shared resilience. Both communities have faced systemic discrimination, pushing them to form tight-knit, resilient communities, according to Canadian Museum for Human Rights. Records indicate instances of intermarriage and mutual support between black and indigenous peoples against colonial oppression. Okay, and that's through the spirit, by the way. He passed away, but his cousin, his son is here. It's my cousin, but it's also his cousin, his son and his. How do I say it? I had a cousin, second cousin, right? He passed away though, but he married a native, a so-called black native, so to speak. You know, and she kind of looks similar in complexion to the girl in the video, a little light skin. You know what I'm saying? She had long hair, light skin, whatever. But she's native. I don't know exactly which tribe or whatever, but she's native. Okay, more than most likely a Gadite. Okay, but yeah, she'll tell you, yeah, I'm native. She's a native to America. That's her. That's what she is. That's her history. Okay, so my cousin, even though so now the son, he came out, and obviously, not say obviously, but the cousin, the father's side was Benjamin. Obviously, the mother was Gad, but he's a Benjamite, regardless. Okay, and that could happen. That's just what that happens. Okay, because Jake is attracted to Jake, and we got 12 tribes to choose from. Okay, it's simple and plain. It's not rocket science, man. There's commonalities amongst the tribes. Okay, a lot of you people are making this more of a big deal than it is, and it's really not that big of a deal. Interaction records indicate instances. I read that part. Shared marginalization. Both groups are often marginalized by colonial governments. Detailed studies on the history of African Nova Scotians can be found at blah, 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 blah. Just look it up. Afro-Indigenous identity. Some individuals hold both identities, often referred to as black and indigenous. Okay? And like the girl was saying, I'm not saying we know that there's only other father. We know that. But she was making a basic point. And these people that don't know basic history on a carnal level are trying to give her an argument. Like, get on her for who she is, man. But that's just Esau fucking everything up. Confusing people. I have to get there. Isaiah 25:7. He will destroy in this mountain the face of the covering cast over all people and the veil that is spread over all nations. Right now there's a veil on all nations of the earth, especially the Israelites. Okay? And we're calling ourselves after crayon colors. We're Crayola now. That's the Esau subjected us to Crayola. Right? Fuck. So you pick a fucking color out the Crayola box, and that's what people are now. He's calling the aliens the grays and shit. I'm talking shit. There's no such thing as aliens, alright? But that's an Esau for you, man. little green men and all that weird shit. Jeremiah 17:4, and thou even thyself shalt discontinue from thine heritage that I gave thee, and I will cause thee to serve thine enemies in the land which thou knowest not. For you have kindled a fire in my anger, it shall burn forever. All right, so the Lord, through prophecy, we would discontinue from our heritage. We wouldn't know who we are. We damn sure discontinue from our heritage if we're calling ourselves, and we're okay. We're okay with calling ourselves after a fucking crayon color, black. And we're so dumb, we don't even call ourselves brown for real. You're literally calling yourself black, Here it is, you range from light skin to dark skin, from light brown to dark brown in hue and color, but you're calling yourself black. Your hair may be black, you know what I'm saying? The pupil in your eye may be black. Your sweater is black, maybe, whatever. Your socks, whatever the fuck. Hopefully you bought them that way, not it was white and then it turned. Nah, I'm just joking. But Esau, that's the witchcraft, man. This witchcraft is just working, man. It's working. And he's just saying yes. You know what I mean? But it's fading away now, because now that we're on the scene, you best believe that that shit's fading away, man. We're not here for none of that, man. We're not entertaining no foolishness. We're putting all that foolishness to the end, to rest. Okay? Deuteronomy 28:36. The Lord Yahweh shall bring thee and thy king, which thou shalt set over thee, unto a nation which neither thou nor thy fathers have known. And there thou shalt serve other gods, wood and stone. Okay? So we'll be among different nations that we wouldn't know. Call ourselves by different names and different areas that we wouldn't know. It says, and thou shalt become an astonishment, a proverb, and a byword among all nations, whither the Lord Yahweh shall lead thee. That's right. That was a curse that was going to befall upon us, simple and plain. It's not fucking rocket science. I mean, Salakia, I shouldn't say that. Maybe I'm getting a little arrogant. I'm becoming a little arrogant, pompous prick, eh? Alright, just a joke. But like for the ones that don't know, this is what was gonna happen to our people. Alright? That we're being called bywords, being called nigger, being called black fatigued, whatever they want to call it. You know what I'm saying? Inner city youth. Whatever byword they wanna put on Jake, you know what I'm saying? Some bugged out shit. Simple and plain. Get this real quick. This is Leviticus 26:33. It says, and I will scatter you among the heathen, and I will draw a sword after you, and your land shall be desolate, and your cities waste. Okay? And yeah, man, that's what happened when we turn against our power. We discontinue from our heritage, not know who we are, be bugged out, and he put belt to ass. That's what he mean by draw out the sword. He put belt to ass on us, man, through these other nations. Starting with Esau, Edom, the so-called white man. Simple and plain. This is Jeremiah 9:16. It says, I will scatter them also among the heathen, whom neither they nor their fathers have known, and I will send a sword after them till I have consumed them. Okay? And but that's pretty much the point, man. It's pretty much the point. That's why we're so confused. We don't know. We're in the hands of our enemies. We're being taught by our enemies. Okay, and then we're using our enemies' terminology as if that's the basis of everything, man. And that's not the case. And I got another video I'm gonna do similar to this in conjunction with this, but I want to title it something different, just cause it's been a reoccurring theme that I've been seeing, and I want to hit the nail on the title for it. That way it can probably pick up on the algorithm somehow. If not, who cares? It's all through the spirit of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. So with that, I'm going to say Shalom. Lord will you are edified. And I'm going to say to the next one.